Are we on? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here. And now, since um, the latest MCU show and Marvel show from Disney has ended with its last episode, aka episode 9 of season 1, has been released, and the miniseries has ended. I've seen all the episodes, by the way, which is why I'm doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't seen all the episodes first. But I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of the entire season 1 of WandaVision, aka the entire series, because, like I said, this is a mini series, so it only lasted for one season. So anyway, let's get into it. So anyway, WandaVision is a 2020 MCU Disney Plus show, if you didn't already know, that stars Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, and Paul Bettany as Vision. And if you didn't already notice, from the picture that I just showed, WandaVision, it's most of the series takes place in a sitcom setting type setting thing, like a sitcom type setting. Especially the first few episodes. And if you couldn't already tell from the picture that I just showed a couple of seconds ago, this series doesn't just take place in one particular sitcom setting. It also has other non-sitcom settings where stories take place, if you know what I mean. But where parts of the story take place. But a lot of the story takes place in a sitcom type setting. And what I mean by that is it's supposed to take place in a sitcom. The parts of the story are the characters act like they're in a sitcom. Everything plays out in a way that looks like and feels like a sitcom. And it takes place in the sitcom setting has different time periods of sitcoms that gradually move from one time sitcom setting to another. One episode, it starts at this series starts at the late 1950s, 1958 sitcom setting. If you couldn't already tell, it's in black and white. That picture that I just showed a minute ago was in black and white. So at first it takes place in not in 1958. It takes place now, but the series takes place now, but the sitcom setting is like a 1958 sitcom setting, which is supposed to be referencing late 1950s sitcoms. And as the series like moves on, like I said, like we start getting like new. The sitcom setting changes. We start getting like new eras of sitcoms, like as the style for like the settings. There's like like I said, there's like a 1950s and 60s sitcom setting. There's also a 1980s setting. And a 1990s setting, and there's also like a late 90s, early 2000s setting, which is clearly like referencing sitcoms from that era, like Malcolm in the Middle. And we also have like okay, so this show also has like a Modern Family like type sitcom setting. Like it gradually moves on to like, you know, the late 2000s sitcom type setting, which is like a Modern Family type setting. It's clearly referencing shows like The Office and Modern Family. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. And the big mystery of this series is why Wanda and Vision are in like, you know, are in like a sitcom setting to begin with, or stuck in a sitcom to begin with, and that is answered in the middle of the series. And I can't say why because this is spoiler-free review. And you know, we also get like a lot of questions like answered in this series, and there are like also a lot of mysteries in this series, like mysteries about what's going on, like why is one thing like this, why is one thing like that, why is a certain thing like this, why is certain thing like that, why isn't something like this, and why is something like that. You know, we have a lot of questions and mysteries at the beginning of like, you know, the series, and all of the ones that were like meant to be answered in this series are answered. This series is perfect. This is a perfect show. It's perfect. It blew me away. It's perfect. The acting in all of the episodes is perfect. This season and this series like have like a vast variety of like tones and themes and settings all throughout the episodes, and it works. It all works. You know, you would kind of be worried that something like that wouldn't work, but this show makes it work very well. And this show has great character chemistry between the characters, especially between Wanda and Vision. Although the whole cast is great. You know, it's got action in there. It's got like action scenes in it. Even though towards the beginning, like, there aren't very many action scenes, and there are no action scenes whatsoever in episodes 1 and 2, but, you know, those episodes didn't need to have action scenes, and they worked perfectly by themselves. I love this series. This series was perfect. This series, like, introduced new characters and brought back old characters from the MCU, and kind of brought back some some familiar Marvel. Oh, screw it. I'm just gonna say it. It's not even a spoiler. Everybody knows. It was even in like a commercial for WandaVision. Evan Peters returns as Quicksilver, although it's not really like answered or not whether or not he's actually Quicksilver, if you know what I mean. Like the same Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe, or just a different Quicksilver. It's not really answered, and it doesn't need to be. We learn a lot about why he's there, though. But a lot of questions remain unanswered, and that's because they're going to be answered in future MCU projects, which is great, which is perfect. I can't wait to see them answered. This series is fun, emotional. It can be very lighthearted. It could be very dark. It can be very dark. It depends on the episode, or the time in the episode, or the moment. And it all works. And this episode has a lot of emotional moments in it too. And those all work. And these characters are very all of the characters in this show are very deep in a good way, of course. And we actually care about the characters. This series makes us care about the characters, and makes us learn more about these characters, about their past and about their present state, and about what could possibly be their future. And this series also sets up storylines for upcoming future MCU projects, and this series is just very thrilling. And this series has some humor in it, especially towards the beginning, and that all works. And this series gives me a lot of nostalgia for past times, mainly because of its references to pastime sitcoms from the early 2000s and stuff like that, and late 90s and stuff like that. Even though I was not even alive in the late 90s, I was born in 2003. And I wasn't born in the 80s, nor the 50s or 60s, nor the 90s. I already said that. But I'm familiar with a lot of the shows from that time period, and a lot of the culture from that time period. And it makes me nostalgic. And I love this series, and I love this episode. Oh, wait a minute! I'm not reviewing a certain episode, a specific episode of this. I just forgot. I'm not reviewing a specific episode. I forgot for a second. A specific episode of this series. I'm reviewing the whole series, aka the whole season 1. Sorry. So I love this whole series and this whole season. The episodes are just all perfect, and so much fun to watch. And this season, aka this series, has a lot of twists and turns, and they're all perfect, and they're all great, and they're all just so satisfying. And this series has a bittersweet ending, which is perfect and satisfying. And this was just a satisfying series and a perfect series, and I can't wait for what comes for future MCU projects and future Disney Plus MCU shows. Anyway, I'm going to give this season, aka this whole series, a 100% out of a 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.